What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review video. This time it's of Pokémon Sword and Pokémon. Now I know these games are much older titles, but I just finished this one. I just finished this one 100%ing the decks, mostly by myself. I did take some obviously from Sword, the Shield one that I have here. But and I also took some with you guys went on during stream, but for the most part a lot of this finding and getting these Pokemon for 100% decks was done by myself. So let's get into my review of these two games. Now, I've been a fan of the franchise since Blue, so obviously I'm gonna be a little skewed to liking the series already. It is very repetitive. Same tropes apply. It's always you are a child with you meet up with your parent, you have a rival, you go off on an adventure to beat the league, and then something happens. Rinse and repeat. It's the same tropes. That's not giving away any spoilers. If you've ever played any Pokemon game, you've played them all, basically. This game obviously is a little different in the fact that, you know, it's for the Switch, whereas all the other ones were made for the 3DS or handheld systems underneath that. Alright, so let's get into the story. So obviously, like I said before, story is the same. You are a child. Pick what you want to be in the very beginning of the game. You have your rival, which is How, and like he's the league champion's brother. He wants to be just like his brother or better, and you guys start off as rivals in the very beginning, except for he's not much of a rival. I'm used to, like, look, I started with Blue and my rival was quote unquote Gary. It wasn't really Gary, he was the rival in Yellow, but it was similar to Gary. So yeah, he was a jerk. So in this game, How is so nice and so pleasant. He's going through his own little things, which I appreciate that they gave your rival a little bit more of a character development than they have in the past. But like, he's not really a rival, more like friendly competition instead of being a rivalry. So obviously you have to beat all the 8 gyms in order to get to the league, and while you're doing that, something happens. And this time, you know, I'm not going to spoil the story for any of those people who don't know. Obviously, this is an older game, so most people would have seen it. But just in case, I don't like to spoil games. So something happens. You got to save the world, like always. And then you come back. This game is different in that instead of releasing a third part or a companion to these games, they released DLC. Now let's talk about the DLC. So the DLC for both of these games were like $30 DLCs, and they don't work. You have to buy a separate DLC for each one, even though they're very similar DLCs. I think the Isle of Armor was the only one where there were slightly different rivals in the Isle of Armor, but basically the game was the same. So I didn't like that the game made you buy 2 different DLCs, especially since if you already own one copy of the game, both copies of the game, they should have worked similarly. But you know, it's the Pokemon company and they want to get as much money from you as they can. I did not buy the DLC for the Shield, which is why my main experience with the Isle Armor and Golden Tundra is going to be with my Sword copy, because I wasn't buying the DLC twice for a very similar experience. I already did that with the games. The only reason I do that is because I hand one off to my kid and we both play at the same time. So that's the reason why I already own 2 copies of the game, and he didn't really enjoy it enough for me to warrant me getting the DLC for him. So let's first start with the Isle of Armor. So in the Isle of Armor in Pokemon Sword, again, I can't reference Shield, you have a different rival. You are gonna be in this temple where it's like a training dojo. And the one thing that the Isle of Armor introduced is you can now get these mushroom things, create a soup. Like after you do the DLC pack in the Isle of Armor, you can now start making these like mushroom type soups that you can find the mushrooms in the actual Isle of Armor, and they make Gigantamax Pokemon that you were scouring for. So a lot of my time with Sword was scouring these specialty Gigantamax Pokemon, and in the DLC they removed the need for that. I was a little upset because I spent a lot of time getting Gigantamax Pokemon and raiding for them and everything, and then that was quickly removed with the soup. I've yet to make the soup, I think out of like frustration that I'm like, dang, I already got all those Pokemon. But obviously it's nice for those people who didn't want to do the raid battles or didn't have time to do the raid battles, because they are very time consuming battles. So it's very nice for those people, but I spent a lot of my time doing those raid battles in the regular version before the DLC came out, and I obviously didn't know that was going to be a thing. So there's that. And so there are two temples, like you get a Kubfu, and there are these two temples that you have to go to. You guys that go to the dark one or the water one, and you can level up your Kubfu into an Urshifu with two very different powers. The rest of the story I think is spoilers, so I'm not gonna get too much into the story of the Isle of Armor. Now in the Crown Tundra, you have a lot more to do. Like the Crown Tundra DLC was much more beefy, I would say, and I like that in both DLCs you can see people wandering about. If you turn on your internet, it's not like you don't like, it's like having the wild area but in both those places, and it's very nice. It makes the world feel more like, I know that you can't really talk to these people, they only give you food, but it makes the world seem more immersive when you see people just randomly strolling throughout the game. And I really like that you can see people running around doing their own thing, and it made the world feel bigger, you know, and all they had to do was put our sprites in. I know there's a lot of pop in and pop out, and that, you know, that's an issue that definitely was in this Pokemon games, but I will get into that with gameplay. So, and the story of the Crown Tundra, you are now helping, I believe his name is Phony, and his daughter. You meet up with them in the very beginning. She wants to do these I forget the name of the thing. These raid battles that are new to the Crown Tundra, where you can get legendaries at the end of each raid. But these are long raid battles. You're like one after the other. I forget the name, it escapes me, but I've definitely done these. I've streamed these and done them a bunch of times, where you can get access to a lot of the legendaries. I don't know if all the legendaries are accessible that way, but a lot of them are. And so, like, if you didn't have all the older titles and you just had these two titles, you were able to get a lot. Not all. I don't think the mystical Pokemon were in there, but a lot of the regular, like, box covered Pokemon are in there. So there's that. So you're helping him. His daughter goes off to do those dungeon battles, and you're helping him solve the mysteries and solve these clues to, like, the I don't know how to pronounce their name, but Calbrax, I think is his name. In this town, there's like one little town in this game. There's not, like, in the Crown Tundra, even though it's bigger and it's more expansive, the area is wider, but there's still just one little itty bitty town in there, and you're helping that town figure out their legend, and helping Phony solve the mystery of these clues, and he gives you a bunch of little side quests to do. So you're helping him fight one of them. The other one is of the birds, and then the other ones are the Reggies, and these are how you get these legendary Pokemon. So for the DLC for the Crown Tundra, I like that one so much better. It had more story, I like, it was a longer time. Like, I feel like in the Isle of Armor, it was a Ditto run, like, was the thing they put in there. A Diglett, I keep saying Ditto, a Diglett run for you to find things, and that was the only thing that was time consuming. The rest of the story mode wasn't. So now let's get into gameplay. So in gameplay, obviously in the original game, in the original Sword and Shield, you have a wild area, which is new to the game. where a lot of the characters, people are popping in and popping out. You can do raid battles with randoms in there, but it's not throughout the whole region. It's just in that one little wild area. Well, the wild area is pretty big too. It's not mini. It's pretty expansive. They don't let you go too far into the wild area in the very beginning because these monsters are a lot tougher. So and you can't catch, like, the way they made it so that you can't catch a really strong Pokemon and just plow through the game is you can't catch a certain level Pokemon, even if you can fight it, but you can't catch it. So you can use that area to level up if you wanted to, if you were strong enough, but you couldn't catch these strong Pokemon, which was a way to make the game take a lot longer. Because imagine, all right, I get a good party to fight this one big monster, and I keep fighting him over and over and again, and I can level up my party, and then I can blow through the game. So I did like that you couldn't catch them. You could do that, what I just suggested, but you couldn't catch them. So you definitely had to go through the story. What else with gameplay? I've already said the Isle of Armor. It's just like the wild area, and so is the Crown Tundra. I really did like that they had more than one daycare center in this game, because if you are doing the Masuda method of breeding and trying to get shinies, I'm not a shiny hunter, but like I do breed when I need to get the baby Pokemon because I am a collector. So the way I play Pokemon is the collecting aspect. I don't do the shinies, but I am collecting them all. Gotta catch them all, right? That's the song, gotta catch them all. But so I definitely do that. And so while getting my dex the 100%ed, you know, I have to raise Pokemon that are baby forms. So there's that. So I did like that there was two, one in the wild area and one in Route 5, I believe. The differences between these two games are just two gyms, I believe. Yeah, just two different gyms. One in two different areas, and I don't want to spoil that, but that's it. That's the only difference in these two games. The gameplay is the same. They introduce you're riding on bicycles in the water, and that's pretty fun because then you could get they artificially put blocks in the road if you can't ride over it because you don't have the road on bike. And so I really did like the gameplay of this game. But I say this, that I am a Pokemon fan, so take that with whatever grain of salt you want. I can be rough on some games. Like, these games did have its problems. Like, obviously I didn't like that I'm running around and suddenly a Pokemon pops up in front of my face that wasn't there a minute ago. So I don't like that, obviously. But so that's one of my criticisms of the game. The gameplay, I really want them to put, like any other RPG, easy, medium, hard. And like, if you want to make your game easy, fine. For the beginners, that's great. These games feel like they're beginner games. Like a little kid could play these games just fine, no problem, as long as they can read. I would like them to remember that a lot of their fans grew up with them. I grew up with Pokemon, like from when I was younger. I've been there from the beginning, and so obviously I'm an adult. I like to play my games not in easy mode, but on a little bit more difficult. So if you added a difficulty like normal and hard, just maybe the normal Pokemon have a little bit more IV, and you play it on hard, they have extra IVs. Make it so that it's worth it to the people to play on hard or normal mode. And and the people who play on easy probably don't care about IV training or EV training their Pokemon, right? So make it something nice for the people who do care about certain things like that. I mean, I know everybody wants to have the Nuzlocke challenges and the Wedlock challenges and all these challenges put in. I don't think that they will do that, but easy, medium, and hard is not too hard to put in the game. And that's just my 2 cents about it. Now let's talk about online multiplayer. So yes, this game is an online multiplayer. A lot of it has to do with the raid battling. You could also battle with people, trade with people. I think since I don't do the battling I can't really talk about that because I am not one of those trainers who battle. I definitely, like I said, I am a collector, so I definitely do the trading. I did not like how trading, the GTA trading was taken off of the game. You had to have home on the phone and on the app. Like they made it so that you couldn't use Pokemon Home for it. Or you're like in past games, you could use the GTA system anywhere in any game, and they took that out of this game and artificially made you use your phone. So like if I wanted to trade a Pokemon, I have to trade it to a Pokemon Home in the Switch, and then to move it over to for and trade it on my phone to do the GTA. And that's why I didn't really use the GTA too much this time, because it was just annoying. Why? That's just way too much work for a Pokemon. I did it for one Pokemon and I was like, I'm done with this. Like that's just, why take it out? You already had the system in place for multiple things, and it's not like the Switch isn't great for online. It's easy to do online. If you could do it on the 3DS, why couldn't you do it on the Switch? That was one of my biggest pet peeves with the online trading. When you can and when you traded with your friends, you had to use a code. So obviously it's a friend you would have to speak to, and there's no way to talk to your friends in game. So like say I had a person that I didn't have their phone number, but they were my in-game friend and I want to trade with them. There's just no way to set that up. And I think that needs to be done much better, because you should be able to trade with your friends. They have that online invite system now. That you and I can remember in X and Y, you could be able to talk to these people. I used to trade with people and talk to them all the time, so that was a thing. I don't know why these systems were removed. Obviously, you can parental control them if you wanted to, but that was a thing that was in X and Y that I really, really appreciated. That's why X and Y is one of my favorite series, because it had a lot of things right in it, and they just removed a lot of the stuff that they had right in that game. So the online was a hot mess with that. Raid battles, you definitely have to make sure that when you're doing raid battles, you turn on the internet. I've gone so many times asking my friends, are you ready? And they're like, you do not appear. And that was my other criticism. Sometimes I would be online and they'd be online and they still couldn't see my room. Sometimes I get one in my room out of the 4 that we were waiting for, and then I have to restart the room. So that I think could be fixed as well, where you can't see all your friends right away. If they're on your friends list, you should be the first one that pops up, obviously. I did like that you can lock your room down. That was nice. That's one of those things that I really liked. So there just needs to be a better system in place for when, like, even Splatoon I think has this, right, where you can start with your group of your friends, and then once your friends are all in, if you don't have enough people, you can let in randoms at the end. And I think that would be a better system to do it. So like if I had 3 friends and it requires 4 people, all right, my 3 friends are in, let me add a 4th person if I wanted to. That needs to be taken care of. I think I don't like that you couldn't add an extra person. Once you put in a code, they either have to know the code or not be able to get in. So there's that. Same thing with the Gigantamax missions in the Tundra. You had to have an 8-digit code and you had to give that to your friends. Any random person could put in a code and get into your room if they had the code right. So that made it easier for streaming for me. So like I didn't have to trade friend codes. I just had to create a really weird code that nobody else should have access to, and I was able to play with these people watching me on stream. But if I wanted to play with my friends, there's not an option for just playing with your friends and then adding randoms afterwards. And I really, really, really want that system to be fixed. Other than that, like the online was okay. I mean, you get the occasional pop in and pop out, like I discussed already, and I did like how the world seemed more immersive in the DLCs. Alright, now for a rating. Alright, so I have been playing this game specifically since it came out, streaming it. Can't say that I've been continuously playing it, but I have been playing it, And I definitely played this one as well. I beat this game. I beat both of the games, but I definitely put more time into this because this is the one I bought the DLC. So I would rate these games. Now I'm just gonna, not the DLC. I'm gonna rate these games, just the base game alone without the DLC. I'm gonna say it's a 7.5. I didn't hate this game. I know a lot of people did. I did not hate these games. I really, really like these games. I just think that Pokemon X and Y had more features that this one didn't have and that I would like put in. And now for the DLC for the Crown Tundra definitely did a lot for me. And so I would say that with the DLC alone, I would say is out of 5, it's a 4 out of 5. Um, so yeah, so these games are great. I would recommend them, especially if you're new to the series. These are not going to be hard to get into, and so I would say yes, get these games. These are worth it. If you like more of a challenge, these are not worth it. So there's that. Put that into perspective. If you like RPGs that are challenging, not the RPG for you. If you just want a laid back RPG with a story, if you've ever played before similar story, then you're all set. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy. I know this is a long time coming, but I just, like I said, finally got all my decks, and I like to finish my games before reviewing them. So thank you for watching, guys. If you watched to the end, happy gaming. Thanks so much. Bye.